Okay, good afternoon to welcome to the July 7th, 2022 Board of Public Health meeting. We have a relatively light agenda, but so let's get to it. So our first item on the schedule is 250 Forest Avenue for upgrade of a complete septic system from Morse Engineering. Who do we have from Morse Engineering today?
Great, thank you. Jeff Hassett here with Morse Engineering. How are you doing?
Great, welcome.
Good. So this is a septic repair. The property is 250 Forest Ave. The property is about 1.3 acres in size, and it's developed with a single family home. It's a 5-bedroom home that was built in 1973. They currently have a 1,500 gallon septic tank, and then a gravity line that goes under the driveway to a D box to a couple of leaching pits that fail the Title V inspection. The proposed system will be to reutilize that tank. We have a note on the plan that the contractor shall pump it, inspect it to make sure it's structurally sound, and install a Zabel filter. They'll then run a new line to a distribution box and a leaching field made up of Infiltrator ARC36 chambers. We're asking for one local upgrade to reduce the groundwater separation from 4 feet to 3 feet. That will improve the drainage design, keeping the mound lower than the driveway. And we had favorable perks. It was an 18-minute perk rate and sandy loam. So thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Questions from anybody?
Not I. It seems pretty straightforward.
I agree. Robin, any questions from you? We can't hear. We can't hear you. I don't know if you're speaking or not. I can't hear you.
How about now?
Yeah, and no echo.
Ready for motion? I'll try that.
Sure.
I move to approve a local upgrade request per 310 CMR 15.405H to allow a reduction from 4 foot to 3 feet between estimated high groundwater and the bottom of the SAS.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
A second?
Great. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
I further move to approve the septic system design plan for 250 Forest Avenue dated 6/13/22.
A second?
Great. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Great. Thank you very much. Good luck with the project.
Thank you. I'll hang around for the next septic design as well.
Okay. I think we can probably move to that, which is 31 Dolan Lane, a new septic system. Floor is yours.
Right, so this property is 31 Dolan Lane. It's about 4.3 acres in size, and it's currently undeveloped. It'll be a retreat lot with the house set back in the upland portion of the property. The perks were witnessed. We have 5 test pits in the vicinity of the septic, and we perked 4 of them. The perk rates were very good, from 5 to 16 minutes per inch. The system will be a new 1,500 gallon septic tank in the front yard, flowing by gravity to a distribution box and a leaching field made up of 6 rows of 7 chambers. We're not asking for any local upgrades or variances. We're here just because it's new construction.
Great. I only have one question, which is the is that a dry? Does the plumbing go out under the driveway? Is that what I'm seeing?
The sewer pipe coming out of the foundation will come out of the front of the house to a tank in the front yard, and then the
oh, I
pipe,
see.
and then the pipe does go under the driveway. That'll be a Schedule 80 under the driveway.
Got it. Okay. Other questions?
Will there be any reinforcement over that pipe so that automobiles on the driveway do not crush the pipe?
It'll be Schedule 80, which without any reinforcement can handle truck traffic.
Jeff, I just got one quick question for you. You also have a proposed portable well. Will the well go in first and then you make sure that the setbacks are all met for the septic? It's kind of like a chicken and egg. Which one goes in first?
Yeah, I don't know which would go in first, probably just, depending on the availability of the contractors when the time comes. I don't think one needs to go before the other, because either way, they're going to have to be survey staked in the field.
Mhm. Okay, thank you.
Okay. If no questions, we could take a motion to approve.
I'll go with this one. I make a motion to approve the septic system design plan for 31 Dolan Lane dated 3/7/22, revised on June 23rd, 2022.
I'll second that.
Great, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye, motion carries 3-0. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay. So we have a few minutes before the next one on the agenda, so perhaps we should set the next meeting date. Well, we probably actually need to, before we can set the date, we need to talk about the online hybrid business. We can wait, we'll cover that next. Can we approve the meeting minutes? Has anyone, Robin, you were out, but Elizabeth, have you had a chance to look at the minutes?
I did, yep, and I made a very minor comment and that was addressed, and yeah, no additional comments.
Terrific. Well, then I move to approve the meeting minutes from June 21st, 2022.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. So we have been getting, of course, our weekly updates from Mary and from Pam. And so, we'd like to, I guess, I'd like to enter those into the record for the minutes for this meeting. Anything, Pam, that you would like to talk about from the health director report that you'd like to highlight?
Well, there was a lot going on this week that centered around the town pool. I don't know if you've ever seen any. Elizabeth knows. There was two different things going on. First of all, they have to get a permit for me to open to make sure the water quality is acceptable quality before they can open. But also they were doing work on the pool this year. And so they had open permits in terms of like electrical permits and building permits and stuff. And so on my side of the things, I did my inspection on Tuesday. The water wasn't meeting the water quality limits because they had a big leak over the weekend and they lost half the volume of the big Olympic sized pool. And then they refilled it. And so all the chlorine was basically diluted out. So initially it was diluted on Tuesday morning. Tuesday afternoon, they said, come back. We shocked the pool, which I didn't think, how could it be ready so fast? But I tested it and sure enough, the chlorine was through the roof. So I said, well, call me the next day, Wednesday morning when you're ready. They didn't call me. And John Hallow went up there as the building inspector and said, there's like 70 people in the pool here. So I ran up there, turned out the chlorine was still really high. It was like between 5 and 10 ppm, and it's only supposed to be between 1 and 3 ppm. So a lifeguard came over to me and said, how is the water quality looking? And I said, oh, it looks like the chlorine's still too high. And she said, oh, by the way, like 4 kids have thrown up from the swim team so far during the practice. So I shut that down, everybody out of that pool. And, I said, well, first of all, you weren't even supposed to let anybody in there until I finished my inspection, and finishing the inspection means making sure the water quality is acceptable. So they were shut down. And then late that afternoon, they got an acceptable sample that they had brought down at South Shore Pool Supply, and I confirmed it was acceptable to have people go back in the pool. But then in the meantime, the building inspector said, nobody should be in there right now because you still have these open permits with me. So he's now again shut the pool down today, further this afternoon. So it's been an ordeal with the whole town pool, but that's what's happening.
Who made the decision to open it, even with high chlorine content?
The the guy who's the certified pool operator up there, he took his own sample and said, oh, it looks fine. I was gonna just take another sample down the South Shore Pool Supply and show you, and then, prove to you that we're ready to open. And I said, well, that's not the way it works. I have to come up and do the, the chemical test to say you can open, not you. So I think he was under a lot of pressure to get it open because it was closed during the 4th of July holiday. And he was just, I don't know. I'll just give him the benefit of the doubt and say he wasn't thinking.
And the swim, the illnesses from this on the swim team, you think it's linked to the chlorine, the high chlorine, or?
Well, it seemed like an awful big coincidence if it wasn't.
Well, I'm wondering if it's something else, right? Is what I'm wondering.
Yeah. I think it was the chlorine, most likely. And they went back into the big pool today, and I haven't heard of any illnesses.
Okay.
But yeah, it's still kind of ongoing because as of right now, they're shut down again. And
When do you think the pool will be open? What's your projection?
maybe tomorrow afternoon. John Hallen's going back there again tomorrow to make sure that all the electrical is good and ready to go. The last thing they need is anybody getting shocked in the pool, like literally shocked from.
You think the chemistry will be in line to have the pool open?
Yeah, so one of the requirements we said to them is that we want you to now send out pool samples every morning to the South Shore Pool Supply that has a better lab, more accurate lab, because they supposedly did it themselves and thought everything was great. So we said for 2 weeks, we want you to get pool samples every morning from South Shore Pool Supply and make sure that it's actually really good quality. So
Okay.
anyway, that was the big event this week.
That is a big event. Okay. Well, let's switch back to the regularly scheduled programming, the 4:40 slot of 23 Fisher Road for the upgrade for a complete septic system. And this is presented by McSweeney.
Yes. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Good. So the computer thinks my name is Susan, and it's actually my wife's computer. This is Terry McSweeney. I'm a registered sanitarian here to present the plan for the Title V upgrade at 23 Fisher Road. So obviously the system the pre-existing system is in failure, and this is a complete plan for the replacement of the existing system because of the elevation of the pipe and the fact that the pipe comes out underneath the garage slab and it's inaccessible. We had to put in a pump system, and you can see that as the first component on our profile. It's followed up with a gravity distribution system through a distribution box into a geomat system, which by DEP permit is considered an alternative SAS with treatment. That SAS with treatment classification allows us to do certain things. For instance, we're reducing our groundwater separation from the required 4 feet down to 2 feet, and that's consistent with the remedial use permit issued by the DEP. We do need 3 variances for the proposed plan. You can see them on the plan. That one is a local upgrade approval from 15405-1F. It's the SAS to drain, which intercepts seasonal high groundwater setback. We have a proposed setback distance of 23 with a required distance of 50 feet. In addition, we're asking for variance from 15405-1I, which is perk testing. The water table was too high on the day of the perks to actually run a perk test. So we submitted a sample to Briggs Engineering and Testing in Weymouth for analysis, for a sieve analysis. The design is completed in compliance with the Mass DEP policy for Title V upgrades based on a sieve analysis. And finally, we're asking for variance from the local regulation, the town of Cohasset, section 310 CMR 15.23113, pressure distribution, and we're asking to the board to grant the variance to allow us to use a pressure instead of pressure distribution as required in your regulations, to use a gravity distribution from a distribution box. I don't know how familiar you are with a geomat system. Kind of a quasi-pressure distribution system anyway. It's kind of like a heavy-duty plastic felt material that's an inch thick, and what happens is the effluent is distributed across this felt-like fabric that's installed in a C33 sand bed until a certain hydraulic head exists across the field, and then there's basically the effluent is dumped. So it really mimics basically a pressure distribution system anyway. So there's not a progressive failure. You're not loading the field at one end and then progressive maturation across the field. Part of the reason that you get the treatment in this system, there are a number of reasons. First of all, you can't bury it as deep as a standard Title V system. It's, as I said before, installed in a C33 sand bed. And then there is this quasi-pressure distribution system because the entire mat system is loaded before the effluent is discharged into the underlying sand. So although it's not a pressure distribution according to the Mass DEP pressure distribution policy, you still do get loading across the entire bed at the same time. It's a 3-bedroom system. As I said before, the design was completed in compliance with both the DEP Title V alternative perk test policy and the GeoMat design manual provided by the manufacturer and approved by the DEP. I'll answer any specific questions you may have on the plan.
I just have one quick one, which was, where was the original septic? Because this is a replacement system, right? So
Right.
were any of these variances, well, so obviously I guess we wouldn't know about the sieve analysis, but the distance from the drain, is that?
Yeah, so the reason that we put the field there, it's not, and this is my fault. We actually took sieve samples from 2 different locations at the suggestion of Phil Spath. The 2 of them are shown on the plan here, and there were an additional 2 that were taken behind the house. The soil conditions were virtually identical between where we're proposing to put the field now and the soil conditions behind the house. The soil behind the house may have had a percentage or 2 higher of silt as opposed to where we're proposing to put the plan. But there's just more room that's available where we're proposing to put the field. If we were to move the field to the rear of the house, we're getting into the natural area. We'd have to take out a significant number of trees, add to the expense of the system. And in addition, as mitigation for the variances that we requested, we're proposing to install this GeoMat system, which, as I said before, by DEP permit is considered an alternative SAS with treatment. So we are providing some level of treatment with the system as mitigation for the requested variances.
Got it. Great. That's helpful. Thank you.
Yes.
Robin, Elizabeth, other questions?
No, sounds straightforward.
Elizabeth, Pam, you good?
Good.
Okay, Pam?
I'm good. I just, I kind of left one of the variances off the notes, you guys. I'm sorry.
Right, the last one is not on the notes. so-
Right. So just be aware.
Okay. So can we get propose some motions, please? Who would like to take a whack?
Sure, unless you want to, Robin, I'm happy to do it.
Go ahead, Elizabeth, you have it.
Okay, here we go. I make the motion to approve the local upgrade request for 310 CMR 15.405 subsections 1F to allow a setback reduction from the 50 foot to 23 foot from the soil absorption system to a street drain that intercepts seasonal high groundwater.
I'll second that.
Great, thank you. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye, motion carries 3-0.
Okay, next motion. I make the next motion to approve the local upgrade request for 310 CMR 15.405 1I to allow a sieve analysis for the determination of effluent loading rate in lieu of percolation test.
second.
Great, all in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0.
Okay, and I make the motion to approve the town of Cohasset, section 310 CMR 15.23113, pressure distribution, allow the use of gravity distribution in the pump system instead of pressure distribution.
second.
Great, all in favor? Aye,
Aye,
3-0, motion carries. Then we have one more motion, right? To approve the overall plan.
Oh, yeah, okay. I make a motion to approve the proposed septic system plan for 23 Fisher Road dated June 3rd, 2022, revised July 6th, 2022.
second,
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Aye.
aye,
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Good
you.
luck with the project.
Thank you.
The kids, I'm in a meeting. I'll be right out. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Okay, so the next item is to discuss the online / hybrid format. So the current allowance for us to hold these meetings by Zoom expires on, what was it, July 14th, Pam? Such
Yeah,
that-
I think 14th was the last day and then 15 it expires. It's gone.
So as of the 15th, we will have to meet in person with at least 2 of the 3 of us in person. I don't know if anyone has heard if there are any sort of nuances or details or anything we've heard from really the state or anyone about whether this could, what the likelihood is this being extended. It seems to me this is one of those things that has really enabled, more participation in town government than would have otherwise been possible. So,
Yeah.
I do wonder if it's, if there's any, if the town is actually lobbying at all for this, or if there's any conversations happening around it.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, right now it's up to the state legislature and, but who knows? I mean, they could swoop it in the last minute and extend it, but as of right now, they haven't. I know like for the town, a town meeting, they had a warrant item where they wanted to make town meeting beginning next year hybrid to get more participation. Like everybody loves this. There's no doubt about it. So it could be a reprieve. They could change, but as of right now, they haven't. As of right now, it ends on the 15th.
So, but if then using the town meeting as a model, could we adopt a town ordinance to allow for these meetings, or does the state not?
I think it's like the state town meeting law, unfortunately.
Yeah, of course.
So you have to adhere to town meeting law. I don't think like we could be less stringent than their law.
Right.
You can always be more stringent, but you can't be less stringent.
any situations to allow some deviance from this?
As of right now, there isn't.
Yeah, but here, my issue is myself. I'm not mobile at the moment.
Mhm.
Having had a recent accident, home from rehab, and just can't get out.
Mhm.
Yep, I have a different reason for this, right? Because I'm in Maine for
Right.
for every weeknight. So this is going to be a big challenge for us as a board, I think, because I'm not totally sure how I would be able to manage it, to be honest. So I was thinking actually, I was actually thinking about whether it would be so our rep is advocating for this to continue. That's how I read her
Oh, the Joan
from Joan
Machino.
Machino.
Yeah. Yep. I think
Well-
she is advocating for it, but we just don't know, unfortunately. And
Yeah.
the problem is too, for the month of August, we have people kind of lined up waiting to know when our August meeting is going to be that want to get on.
Yep.
And does it have to be 2 board members or 2, does Mary count?
No, it's got to be 2 board members, unfortunately.
All right. Well, so here's what I think we can do is, oh, God. Well, I guess the other question is, I don't know, Elizabeth, how flexible you are in terms of time of day. do you work during the day or do you have
I
flexibility?
do, but I work from home. This is
Got
my guest bedroom home office, so. there you go.
I see. Because if it's on a Monday, I could potentially, so I'm in Cohasset Saturday, Sunday, and I go to Boston on Monday. I could potentially, if we could do it in the morning on a Monday, then I could probably make it work.
But in the event that only 2 board members are available, how does that work?
Well, the third person can still be on Zoom. So it just has to be, that's my understanding. That's how I read it, is more than half have to be in person.
Right.
The other, the remainder could be potentially online or hybrid.
So one online, one on Zoom and one in person would not work?
That's right. That's right. Okay, so here's where here's where I think we should go. I think we should table the conversation about discussing how we organize the board, depending on, obviously if I can't make meetings, I can't chair the meetings, but if we can figure out a way to do it, then we can continue it. So let's do the board reorganization in the August meeting. So I just proposed to table that. I don't know if we need to vote on that tabling or not. Let's just do it just to be safe. I move to table the board reorganization conversation until our August meeting.
Second.
Great, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Okay, so Pam, just keep us posted. And let's look at, and so with this in mind, let's take a look at the August. So we have a bunch of,
do you remember before we had the Bliss family on I forget the address on Forest Ave, the people who wanted the houses, the horses, they had 2 lots and they weren't willing to compromise at all on the variance requests. They're coming back again next month.
So that with a compromised variance request, hopefully.
I think so, yeah. I haven't even had a chance to look at it yet, but I think so. I think they finally compromised. So there's that. And then there's also a septic project that's on Situate Hill. That one should be no worries.
Okay. I mean, if we how early do you start at work, Pam and Mary? Are you there at 9, 8:30? What's the?
Well, I can always work from home to start the day and then just come down afterwards. You know what I mean? So
that's true.
I could start at 7:30 if you needed me,
Okay. Okay.
But we'll need a computer, right? A computer set up where we are in person.
Oh, that's true too. I do have to get my butt down there.
Or I mean, I could bring, I don't know, I'm not very good. We don't use Zoom in my work, so I'm not very Zoom adept.
Yeah.
I could manage that if I'm there. No problem.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you'd be doing us a huge favor, Michael. So I'd do whatever you needed me to do. I could get up one day. I could really get myself down here. Mary knows I'm very tardy, but I could do it. I could do it. I could do it one day a week. I could really get up early and do it.
Well, lacking any solution, I think the only solution would be for me to leave the board. I just cannot manage it right now.
Well, so if Elizabeth, I mean, that's up to you, surely, Robin, but I think that if Elizabeth and I can both make it, if we can figure out a way for us to both come in and you participate remotely, that will be fine.
Hey, let's see how that works.
Okay. So I'm looking at my calendar. How does the morning of August, well, so wait, so how far into, are there other projects that are sort of percolating along that we need to hear? Like, when should we do this in August?
Let's see, what's today? Today's the 7th. Let's see.
Because the 8th looks good for me. The 15th looks good for me.
I think the 15th would be fine.
I can't do the 15th. I could do the 8th or 22nd or 29th. But
Should we do the 22nd?
That's fine by me.
So say what, 8:30 or 8 o'clock on the 22nd?
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Rob, is that okay with you?
Sure.
Okay, cool. All right, so then I am going to put that on my calendar right now. Okay. And so I don't know, Pam or Amy, if you could send around a placeholder for the calendar, that would be great.
I'll send out a Zoom invite.
Super.
All right,
Thank you
it's
very
like
much.
8:30 a.m. All right, great. Thank you, guys.
Okay. So Pam, did you have anything else you wanted to talk about from your report?
No, that's good for me. Mary?
Mary?
I don't have any real hot issues right now. COVID persists. Our infection rate was 7% last week. It's going to be 8% this week. So numbers are just not going down like we'd like them to, but so that's COVID. And then just recreational camps. We have 3 of those this year. So wrapping up those inspections. It took a little bit of work, hand holding with Holly Hill Farm to get them up and running, but I think they're in a good place now. So, so that's about it.
Okay. I was going to ask just about, oh, right, COVID. Do we get a report from the state about how many Cohasset residents are hospitalized for COVID? Do we ever get that information? We don't.
No, we get that information when we call people, but we don't get a report from the state.
It's so interesting because, I mean, there's been this movement in sort of the public health community around COVID to move towards severe cases, i.e. those that result in hospitalization as opposed to number of cases.
Mhm.
So it's interesting that we don't we don't have a way to get that data even. So,
Right.
Okay. Thanks, Mary.
You're welcome.
I have nothing to add from as topics not reasonably anticipated. So I have no other agenda items unless anyone has anything else you would like to bring up.
So, are you permanently moved to Maine?
So yeah, my primary residence is in Cohasset. So,
Okay.
but my job is in Maine from
Okay.
Tuesday, Wednesday. So Tuesday through Friday, I work in Maine.
Okay, and that's a long term. That's not like a short term, couple months. It's gonna be
No,
long-term.
it's been going on for 2 years.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's kind of an interesting setup. Yep. Okay, so if nothing else, let's have a motion to adjourn.
I'll move we adjourn the meeting.
A second?
Great, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Nice to
Thank
see
you
you
guys.
guys.
Thank you.
Nice to see you too. Hey, Robin,
Nice-
take care.